Okay, we are going live. Welcome, everyone. We are going live. We are live today. All right, I'm here. Welcome, everyone. Black Friday. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Black Friday. Give you guys all a chance to join. Let's talk about getting started. Let's talk about getting started because my audience, I would say that the typical audience coming here is probably new. No, let me take it back. You're probably beyond new, but you're not expert yet. Would you agree? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're not new, you're not expert, or somewhere in between. If you're new, put in new or one. But give me a one if you're brand new. Give me a two if you're like intermediate. How about that? I want to fill in the gap. Here's the reason why I want to talk about this because I find that a lot of my students that come in, they're probably post new. They're post new, but they're not expert. You're in there in the middle, and there's not many groups out there that are gonna talk to you. Not many groups that talk to you. I mean, maybe you got already 2, 3 cards. You got all the usual suspects. You got all the cards everyone else talks about already. But maybe you made one redemption. Maybe you haven't made a redemption. Maybe you're scared to death to make a transfer, right? Okay, right? So I wanna talk about a couple things. I wanna talk about credit. I'm gonna talk about a couple things. I'm gonna talk about credit. I'm gonna talk about how your mentality needs to be. And then I also want to talk about picking the right experience. Is that good? I'm going to talk about 3 things. Okay, I'm going to talk about 3 things, and each thing has like 5 points I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you an idea before you ever come to my master class, before you ever come, how you probably have to have the right mentality, understand about credit, because you should be getting, if you're new-ish, the 1.5 and the 2s, if you're 1.5 and a 2, you should be getting 3 to 5 cards a year. And if you don't think that I'm right about that, then tell me why. Tell me why. Then I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that. Because I think each card that you get is probably gonna give you enough either for round trip flights, each card, or the card I'm gonna recommend, and then 2, it could get you on business class if you want, or even first class in some situations, depending on how you do it, okay? And if you wanna fly internationally, you can do that too, and if you wanna fly domestic, you can do that too, and you're a family travel, you can do that too, and if you're a business traveler, you can do this too, and if you are a, bougie solo traveler, you do it too. All of you can do it. For Monet. You know, Flor, give me an idea. Because see, exactly, you said you're 2, maybe 1.5, 1. Why do you say that? Why do you say you're 1, 1.5, 2? Like, where do you we're gonna have to I need to help you overcome that so we get you on the road, because if you're coming to my session, if you're coming to watch my is it just for entertainment only, or do you actually wanna travel like this? I need to know, by the way. You can put in the comments. You can put in the comments. This is my Thanksgiving to you folks. This is my Thanksgiving to you folks. Well, let me start off. Let me start off with maybe our mentality first, okay? Actually, can everyone put in the chat, if you don't mind, you can put in the chat. Tell me how many cards have you applied for in the last 24 months? Tell me how many credit cards you have applied for in the last 24 months, and we'll come back to this later. Come back to this later, okay? But I wanna talk a little bit about myself and maybe about you in this format. Let me just give you a background. So for 25 years, almost 30 years, I was selling financial service products, insurance, retirement, investments, retirement planning, uh, children educational account, college plan. I did all that stuff, okay? And I realized that people didn't save enough for the future, and people probably didn't do enough for today based on a couple reasons. Number 1, you may be making enough just to get by. Maybe you're making enough just to get by. For today, then tomorrow, then tomorrow. I mean, you're just looking day by day. And that's one way to live, but that's not the only way to live. And if we wanna get out of that cycle, we need to get around a different group of people. So, for example, if you're thinking about travel, for example, if you're thinking about and by the way, we're the finance part of travel. I am not a traditional I'm sorry, I'm not a traditional travel influencer because I'm not telling you, "You should go here, you should go here, here's the top 10 things you should go do." I could do that, but that's not what drives me or gets me excited, okay? That's not what drives me or gets me excited. What gets me excited is being able to hunt for the deal. So if you guys are, like, into the hunting for the deal, just know that hunting for the deal is a sport in itself. It's a sport in itself. So if you like to hunt for the deal, then you gotta know what is a deal. You gotta talk about that kind of stuff, okay? Um, he says, "I haven't opened any new cars in I've changed careers and I'm getting out of debt because of it." Okay? I wanna be a bougie solo traveler, but I have stability. I need to have stability in my parents first. Okay, 4. So, great question. So, you have a long-term aspiration of being a bougie solo traveler, it's great, but at the beginning, you're gonna just need to travel, and you just wanna get from point A to point B the least expensive way possible, right? I mean, that's what we do. Now, I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people don't say. There are times you can use cash, and then sometimes you can use points. Sometimes you use cash, sometimes you use points, okay? When should you use cash? You should use cash when the cash rate is cheap. If the cash rate is low, go with that. Cash rate is low, go with that. If cash rate is high, then go high. By the way, I just realized I'm looking at the wrong camera. Huh, no wonder. Looking at the wrong camera. I'm looking at you. I'm just looking at the wrong camera. Um, Cash rate is low, book cash. Cash rate is high, use points. And you go, "I don't have points." That's why we're gonna go get them, because that way I save you your cash. And you may think every trip I'm gonna take is gonna be a vacation. No, sometimes not a vacation. Sometimes you just have to go see your family. Sometimes someone passes away in the family, and you have to go see them. Sometimes there's an emergency, you gotta get somewhere. Sometimes you need to have points, so you can go that job interview, for example, that's gonna take you there. Hopefully, they'll pay for it. But if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, you gotta go there. You gotta go see your brother. There's an emergency. There's a trip you really need to take. You're gonna take a trip at some point, whether you like it or not. So I just wanna prepare you for that trip you're gonna go take. And the reason why I put my classes together, a couple reasons. Number 1, you can ask me a million questions and you're still gonna be confused. Because you're coming from the mentality of what you know so far. So you're gonna ask me questions about what you know. I need to give you the groundwork, the framework, and you cannot do that. You can't get the groundwork, the framework, unless you understand the way I see it. So I need to actually spend time with you to get to understand. So let's start with this. You may be wondering, why should I invest my time to listen to you? Okay, let's start with this. When finance tough, every dollar sometimes feels like really critical, right? You have the fear that spending money on something like a course or an expert or a coach, they may not deliver you like a tangible result. Okay. I totally get that. And then you're blinded by what you see right now because you don't understand yet what you're going to get back. I can just tell you what you're going to get back. You're going to get back in the end the ability to travel for free using your points and miles. You're gonna be able to get back an understanding now how airlines price things, whether it be cash or whether it be points, and you're gonna get an immediate ability to now apply it so that you can be able to travel, and you're gonna get a return right away. And if you wanna hear from people who take my class, you will. Number 1. Number 2, I don't think you realize that it's like a cheat code. When you are able to talk to people, when you're able to get coached, okay, now not everyone is gonna coach you the same way, but the ability to gain from other people's mistakes and their experience is gonna save you time. It's gonna save you 3 months, 6 months, a year to let me just give you an idea. When I got started in 2014, I literally I read, I don't know if you do this, there's very few people gonna I read every day for 3 years, 3 hours a day. I easily, if I added it all up, I was reading at like 2 or 3 hours a day every day. That's like 1,000 days of reading 3 hours. So that's like 3,000 hours. Do you have that time? Do you really? Do you have that time? You may not have that time. So part of it is me to help you understand that, okay? And so figure that part out. I think there's a lot of things that you can do just by being around people who are going to help you do that. I can just tell you, if I'm around you all the time, you're going to be an expert in this. There's just no way around it, okay? Next, if you have a scarcity mindset and you don't think it's happened to you yet, and you think it's going to take a lot of time for you to have it, like for example, you said, okay, I need to get out of debt. Two ways to get out of debt. Number one, you make more money. Number two, you pay it down, right? Number three, you figure out how you be able to make more. You figure out also how you have to be completely out of debt before you can start learning how to travel free. No, because here's the thing: at some level, just make sure that you have enough. Just make sure you have enough leverage, you have enough credit so that you can be able to live the life you need while you're paying out everything down and while you're doing all the things you do. Okay, and then number four, I should be a life coach, but I'm not. I'm not a life coach, but I'm going to give you things that are life lessons. Number four, I think you need to prioritize what is your immediate need. Okay, so let's say you said your bills, your grocery, your rent. Okay, if you have to pay those things, might as well get some points out of it. Those immediate things. So do what makes sense for you, and there's credit cards out there that have no annual fee or very small annual fee, and they'll still be more than what you're paying, okay? So there's that. So I think you should invest in an expert or a course or a class or a master class or something that's gonna help you in that endeavor. And then lastly, I think sometimes people have, like, skepticism. If they invest, will it pay out? Will they mistrust? Will they get hurt before? Look, I have tons of people I think you can be able to help that want to help you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about um, how to improve your credit. Okay, we'll start off with that. We'll talk about how we're going to improve our credit. The first thing is the easy one. First thing, I think you can become an authorized user on someone else's card. Do you know that? So let's say you have a trusted family member with a friend who has excellent credit, and you're an authorized user on their credit card. They have good positive payment history. When my daughter was 18, I added her actually before she was 18. I added her on since she was 13. I have an older one who's like 25. By the time she turned 18, I already had her on some of my oldest credit cards. So I actually kept my old credit cards so that I could add her on there, and they had good history and a lot of age. And that's one of the 5 things that affect your score. It's about the same. It affects your score as much as how many inquiries and hard pulls that they had for credit card. In fact, I think people focus way too much on the inquiries. Oh, if they inquiry into my credit report, it's going to hurt my score. Having a long history is just as important. So if you think that's important, the inquiries are important, then having a long history is just important. So adding on someone who's an authorized user is going to help that authorized user up so much. Okay, number one. You don't even need to use that credit card. Just having them on as authorized user, you don't even need to give them a credit card. You just gotta add them on the lead card. You can hold it as a primary. That's gonna help your authorized users so much. That can be your brother, your mom, your dad. More importantly, if you have children, it's gonna help your kids. So by the time they turn 18, they'll have age of history on there, okay? And at the same time, eventually, by the time they turn 18, you wanna help them get their own card. Because by helping them get their own card, they're gonna become responsible, or at least they'll learn how to become responsible and understand that whatever their actions are, they're buying something, paying it off, buying something, paid off. Having regular payments is gonna help their score a lot, a lot, a lot. Let's see, how many people? Welcome to everyone that's here. Welcome. I'm glad you guys all following. Okay. Okay, let's say number 2 with credit. Number 2 with credit, pay off your credit card's balances strategically. Okay, if one of your credit cards, you only owe 10% of the whole balance, and the other one is like 40% of their whole balance. You wanna pay down the one that has the higher balance and keep your score down, because if you can get it down to 30%, that's really important. Anytime it's over 30%, that's gonna hurt your score. So if you have $10,000 credit line, you don't wanna owe or carry a balance more than 3,000. Gotta get that down to 30%. Get those things down. Okay, once you pay those things down, you don't need to wait till the due date. You can pay it off at the statement date. You wanna show your score gets better, pay off make your payment by the statement date, not by the due date. That's gonna make such a huge difference because, hey, Poise, hey, Kailani, by paying at the statement close date, that's the date that the credit card company is sending it to the credit agency. So that way, your payment or that amount that goes down, that percentage, that utilization, it goes down on the closing date. That's maybe 10 days or 2 weeks before the due date. So send it in a little bit early and do auto pay, okay? Those are things. Um, and then instead of maxing one card out, I'm not an advocate for running up balances, but instead of having it on one card, spreading it out over 2, 3, that's gonna help you a lot because that way you can keep it 30%. Also, take a look at your credit report. Are there any errors on there? Let me give you an example. I used to work for Carfax. We were a credit reporting agency. We used to gather data from 100,000 sources. We had a million data points coming a day about somebody's car, and then we would report that to insurance companies, and when they would buy that information. Okay, here's the thing. You think Carfax will know if the information is correct or not correct? Same thing with your credit report. There's data coming in all the time. It's up to you as the owner to pull the report and look at it. And by the way, it's free. And number 2, it doesn't hurt your score. That's a soft pull. Doesn't show a mark on your report when you pull it yourself. You can pull it every day if you want. But you should be able to do that. You should take a look and see if everything's correct. If it's not correct, like your name's not written there, the date of birth is wrong, those are things that you can dispute and then take those errors off the credit report. Okay? If you want to go check it out, go look at annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com is really, really helpful. Look for things on your account like things you don't recognize, like an incorrect balance, the name, the late payment's outdated, it doesn't make sense. And then you want to then report and dispute that inaccuracy with the 3 major credit bureaus. You want to check with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, okay? Directly, you can do it online, okay? And then use evidence like a statement or proof of payment when you file a dispute that, "Here, it's already paid off. I don't know why it's still showing there," okay? Now, number 4 is an interesting one. This one here is talking about asking for a credit limit. The reason why you would want a higher credit limit is because that way it helps your utilization. Like I said, if you owe 10,000, sorry, if you have a credit line of 10,000, you don't want to carry a balance more than 3,000 or 30%. So either you pay it down the balance or you raise your limit. So raising your limit is going to help your utilization, it's going to help your score. Now, I wouldn't do it if it's going to be a hard pull and it's going to show a mark on your report. If you're gonna show a mark on your report, you might as well apply for a new card and get a new limit on a different card, and that way you can get a new welcome bonus, right? So, something to keep in mind, okay? So, that's another and then lastly, I probably wanna say about diversify your credit mix. Having great credit means that you can't just have a good just 1 or 2 credit cards. You probably need to have a home loan, a car loan, or maybe 5 or 6 different cards, different banks, top tier, like Amex, like, Blue Bank, like Citi, like Capital One, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, any of those big name ones is gonna help you a lot, okay? And then, don't open accounts unless it makes sense. If you're gonna open an account, it makes sense for you. Don't just go open up a Victoria's Secret or Home Depot credit card, right? Those things never really make sense, okay? Let's see. Do we have any questions? Questions? Move on to my last point. Move on. Kathy, how are you, Kathy? Okay, let's move on to my last point. This has to do this has to do with the 4-star and 5-star hotels. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I just saw somebody posted in one of these Facebook groups today, that said that if they were staying at a Hyatt house in New York City. A Hyatt house is a select service long-term stay. There's a kitchen, there's a bathroom, there's a living room, there's a bedroom. Okay, here's the problem. Woke up like 5 o'clock and had all these bed bugs bite them on their. Oh my god, that's like the worst nightmare you're gonna have. Okay. Now, I'm not here to say that only 4 star, that 4 star and 5 star won't ever have bed bugs. It'll be less likely, but it can happen there. Here's the reason why I think it's important for you to stay at a 4 star or 5 star property, okay? The reason why that's important is because I think you're going to find that when that stuff occurs, it's gonna be better experience. Let me give you an example. This person got bit by the bed bugs in New York. He went downstairs and talked to the front desk person, and the front desk person says, "Oh my gosh, you should go to the doctor and go check it out, make sure everything's good, get some documentation, and then we'll just submit it to Hyatt." And then this person went on to post to say that because they were upset because Hyatt wouldn't cover it right away. I mean, they have to do the investigation. That's number one. Number two, she didn't talk, or he or she didn't talk to someone in charge who could be able to do that. They talked to the front desk person, and the front desk person usually not empowered to do that. So if you're gonna bring these things up, you wanna ask for a manager first. Okay, so you're not where you're talking to someone who is. But even then, go do what you have to do. You can always come back. I mean, and they can investigate it and all those things they have to do. But what I'm trying to say is this: at a 4 star and 5 star property, would have had a better experience. Okay, because in a 4 or 5 star, a full service, you're gonna have more of a luxury experience. They're catering to as a high-end property, they're catering to a higher end, high value customer because they'll have, like I said, how do you know it is? They'll have a spa, there's usually a gourmet dining, a restaurant, a pool with great views, maybe even have a private beach with the resort, and then they'll usually have private service, personalized service. They'll have a concierge, they may even have a butler, they're gonna have a staff who's very attentive to your needs. They'll have a well-equipped room. Hopefully, it's clean and it has all the things. Here's the thing. It won't be it'll the bed will be white. The bed will be white. The bedding, the pillows, it will be white. If you go in a bedroom and it's not white, that probably means they're trying to hide dirt or whatever. So, white bedding is good. 4 star and 5 star usually have really plush bedding. They have high-end toiletries, they have more space, there's a true retreat. When I got started in points and miles, I did that because when as a business traveler, I was staying at 3 star properties, and all the rewards I earned, it wasn't with the brand that I could actually be able to take my family in. And so that's why it's important. I'm gonna recommend you guys stay at 4 star, 5 star. They're usually better location, the views are better. These are more aspirational properties, places you can get excited about going. Okay, the dining is going to be better. The breakfast will be better. It's even better when you have status and it's free. The drinks are going to be better. They'll have gourmet meals. They'll maybe have a lounge. So these are all things that you're not going to find really in a 3 star property, but you will at a 4 to 5 star property. So um, keep that in mind. The design is better. It's going to be interesting. There's going to be character. There'll be atmosphere. The type of people it attracts is important too. I think that's important. If you're going to go to a hotel, you're going to meet people. You want to be people you want to be around, not people you don't want to be around. So that's another thing. And then lastly, I would work on getting elite perks. If you find a program that you really like, try it a lot. Um, you can be able to take a look at programs that are going to reward you to come back and have 4 star, 5 star properties. Okay. And then you'll have access to like executive lounges and perks like free spa treatments and room upgrades and things like that. Things that you're not going to get at a 3 star property. Hey, BOA, it's good seeing you. So I know that there's an inclination to move to budget travel whenever you're on a tight budget, but once you're in points and miles, you can be able to splurge a little bit. Using points, you can be able to do that. And I understand. I would say if it's a one night stay at the airport, I don't mind. 3 stars, totally fine. But if you're going to go on a vacation, you're going to take your family someplace, look for nice properties. Look for a vacation club, you know, look for places that are going to elevate your experience. Places you're gonna leave and you go, "Wow, that was great. I can't wait to come back." Because those things affect your experience. If you don't do it the right way, that's gonna affect your experience. Have the right travel strategy, have the right loyalty program, think about getting a coach, It's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna s I'll let you know right now. I didn't do a Black Friday sale. I didn't do a Black Friday sale for a certain reason. I just felt like I didn't want to say, "Hey, you know what? Here's a great deal." I always do a good deal. I always do a good deal. You know how I do a good deal? I make sure that you get results in the end. My good deal for you is that my commitment to help you get good results. Um, Follow me. I'm gonna be going to Thailand next week. I'm gonna show you what I did to get 25 people, and about almost all of them that use points miles in one way, shape, or form. Whether they converted their points into cash, whether they use their cash to transfer, airline, or hotel, I did it all. We did everything. Like my trip with my group is to teach them how to use their points mile. It's not just about learning it, it's about being applying and practical, and I want them to fly long haul. I'm gonna do something different. I haven't told you yet, but I'm gonna do something different. I haven't done in a long, long, long time on a long haul trip. I'll show you guys, and then, I'm excited to share with you guys. Okay. Ellery, hello, how are you? Anyway, if you folks, I'm gonna leave this on there. If you guys wanna come back and look, you can. I have something really good lined up, for December. The mentorship class is incredible. This past week, we had, Miles of Memory. I had I had so many great people, but it's great having you guys here. I cannot wait. I love having you guys here. Thank you very much for supporting it always. Thank you for sharing my information. Thank you for coming and joining. I cannot thank you enough on this Thanksgiving weekend. I appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.